Woo.
Are we ready, Oliver? Are we back in action?
He's on his hands.
Mr. Badminton is on fire for
He's
today's
mixing
episode.
it up. He's mixing it up.
I met Sten Pedersen, the commentator for BWF, at the breakfast one of the days, and he said that he fell asleep to our podcast the night before I met him. So
I know, and I actually told him off for saying that. Like, it's just not okay.
but he's a listener of our podcast, and he thinks it's quite good.
Yeah, that's
So,
actually quite a like pat on our back.
Actually,
because he's a guy who knows what he's talking about when it comes to badminton.
Is he really? No. No. I actually invited him to the podcast.
Yeah, what did he say?
He said, sure. So
nice.
Yeah, so we are going to do that at some point.
We should.
What he actually said was that he was I don't know if he was kind of surprised that I was doing a fine job here as a podcast host, because he would expect you to be good at it, but he was a little bit like, I felt like he was a little bit surprised by my level of podcast hosting.
I think most people feel like that.
But does that mean that I'm better than people thought I would be? Or
Yeah, for sure. For
Okay,
sure. I think
perfect.
people had pretty low expectations. That's it.
perhaps I can only surprise in a positive matter here.
Yeah, I know we've also had quite a few requests to have Jill, as she's called, Jill Clark, on as a guest.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be difficult. I already tried getting her on my own podcast when I was still doing that one, and she doesn't want to say yes because she doesn't want it to look like she's like favoring some players in terms of others. So I think that's fair enough. But yeah, now at least she's on Twitter. Actually, we spoke about getting you on Twitter, but now Jill is on Twitter, and on the first day she got like 20,000 followers.
Wow.
So yeah, Sten was a bit jealous because he's only on 7,000.
Okay.
And he suggested her to get on and actually persuaded her to do it, and then in one day she had like 3 times the amount of followers.
For how many years has she been the commentator for BWF? It's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. And like, she was a professional player before, so she's been in the sport forever, and she has so much crazy knowledge and statistics and everything. Like, she has notes for every single player on the tour. She's running this thing now on Twitter with the Jill's fun fact of the day, and it's quite good for a guy like me who loves statistics, and numbers and stuff like that. I'm very excited that she's on Twitter to follow now.
You're doing something weird with your hair this evening, where it's
sorry.
it annoys me.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that I can see that the sunlight is hitting the lens.
Yeah.
Is that a problem? Not at all. Anyways, guys, that was a weird start, but thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Badminton Experience. We appreciate it so much. Even though we have not been on for a few weeks, we have been in Thailand playing the Thomas Cup and then the Thailand Open. Didn't went very well, but we will get into that during this episode. So, but I feel like there has been like the fans has been demanding a podcast. There's stuff to talk about, a lot of interesting topics. India won the Thomas Cup, Korea won the Uber Cup. There's so much. I don't know. Oh, I actually know where to begin. We'll start somewhere else.
All right.
You announced on your Instagram today that you are going to retire.
I am indeed. We all are at some point, but yeah.
At some point, yeah.
I announced today that it will be sometime next year, so in 2023. So I'm not 100% set on when it's gonna be. I have a few different scenarios in mind, but yeah. Before the European Championship some weeks ago, I already made the decision and informed the coach before we went to Thomas Cup actually that I had made the decision. So now it was just about time to announce it. I wanted to do it now instead of waiting until next year to give myself more time to figure out what the plan is going to be when I retire. So now I have a year or something like that to figure out the next step for me.
So give me some insights on the thought process of why now? Why do you feel like, or not now, but sometime next year, why do you feel like this is the right time for you to retire from badminton?
Yeah, well, obviously, there's a lot of things going into it. One thing is my age. I'm gonna be 37 next year, so I am rather old, and it's tough on the body. My body is feeling good, but I also feel every year that my recovery process is getting slower and slower, and it's tougher and tougher to do enough. And also, if I want to make like a deep run in tournaments, it's quite hard to do it 3 or 4 days in a row. So that's like a natural part of it. But I think the main part actually for me is that I don't feel in the same way that it's worth everything anymore, going to tournaments, the sacrifice that I do in terms of my family especially. I can just feel, and I especially felt it when I was trying to plan this summer and the rest of the year where there are a lot of tournaments, that it didn't excite me as much as it has done in the past. I was very excited for Thomas Cup and the World Championships, but all the other events that are basically what fills up the calendar, it just did not excite me the same way. It's not that I'm demotivated at the moment, but I just felt like, okay, that's a sign that it's moving in that direction, and I need to prioritize my life differently.
It's definitely a good tell. I believe that if it's not that exciting anymore, it's time to call it a day. And so mentally, has there been a switch recently, or?
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about it for a long time. Also, obviously, I've been asked about it quite a few times, so it's not like a thought that's far away from my head or anything. But like, I would say when I was trying to plan the summer, I needed to plan it with my mom and my wife to get everything to work out with who's gonna watch out for our kid. My wife has her own career to take care of as well. It was right there. It really hit me that okay. I don't really think this is a lot of fun to do. So I would say that's where I really felt the switch, and I've always had in mind that the World Championships in Denmark next year could be a potentially quite nice place to retire. It's not certain that that's going to be where it stops. It could also be before that. It could also be a little bit after. But yeah, it just felt quite natural to say that okay, that is going to be it.
So why the announcement now?
Yeah, that's simply to give myself more time to get offers actually for what to do afterwards. Because if I announce it now, I feel like if there's anyone out there who's interested in getting me in as a coach or in any other role or capacity in the sport, now they know that they can start planning ahead. Maybe ask if I have any interest. Instead of announcing it 1 month before, then you need to rush into something new.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, and also for me mentally, like having the knowledge, it would just annoy me going around having to kind of keep it a secret.
And people asking all the time.
Yeah, I'm being asked anyway, so I figured it would make sense to just say it now as I know it. So obviously inform my sponsors and coaches and everyone beforehand, and get it out there.
Yeah. So Oliver, can you start formulating a contract for Hans-Kristian, just so we know that we have him here on the Badminton Experience. We don't want him to run away. I start another podcast.
I almost promise I will still be on TV.
I think we have a bright future, so I think
we do.
I think it would be a shame to call it a day already.
I'm just not sure if it can be like a full-time job straight away.
We'll see.
But maybe
We'll see. I mean, I have visions for this brand to be more than just a podcast, to be like a badminton media who covers the sport a little bit broader, if you can say that. I have different ideas, training camps, TBE training camps, around Europe, Asia, maybe bring it to the United States at some point. I mean, I have a bunch of ideas. Let's talk about them somewhere else. Hopefully they can come to life at some point.
I'm interested.
Yeah, it'll be great. I'm very excited about this. We started last summer, right?
Yeah,
and now it's almost summer again. We haven't even had the podcast for 1 year.
I'm not sure. I just remember one of the first episodes was during the European Championships in football. I remember that.
Yeah.
So that's about a year ago now.
That's right.
So, It's about a year.
It was during summertime, and now it's getting closer to summer again, and it was so warm in my apartment. I remember. That's fun. It feels like so long time ago, but it's actually less than a year. Anyway,
time is flying.
Time is flying. When you're having fun. Should we get into some of the relevant topics that has been going on lately?
We should, and I think Thomas Cup is the place to start, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
we've
been hammered on social media from our Indian following. Actually,
yeah,
they feel like we badly underestimated India during Thomas Cup, because in the last episode we did the build up to Thomas and Uber Cup. We did not mention India once. Actually, I don't think we said it. Yeah.
True,
but you actually as soon as we got off.
I've been looking forward to come clean about this because I think was it right after you left the apartment last time, I texted you and said that India has a really strong team as well. And they are extremely tough to beat. So for some reason we forgot to mention India, but we knew about India. But
we apologize for that. And if you want to check, we actually, in one of the first questions or comments we had on the podcast, we also wrote as a reply to that comment that we had a lot of respect for India, and I even said that I thought it was probably the best Indian team ever.
Yeah.
So we did have a lot of respect for them.
But I had a lot of respect for India last time as well.
Definitely.
But I mean, with Lakshya, how he's been playing for the past half a year or something, and coming up as the first men's single. He wasn't participating last time, 1.5 years ago. So he definitely adds a lot of strength to their team. Having Srikanth in the second men's single is a as we saw, a very, very strong player to have in that spot.
Yeah, I guess he was the best second man singles in the event.
Yeah,
but yeah, I remember
I think he won all six matches.
I think he did. Yeah, I remember in Aarhus as well that we played India in the quarterfinal, obviously, and none of us really wanted to get into that fifth match. That time they had Samir Verma in the third singles, and he's had a pretty good run against both me and Gemke before as well. So yeah, obviously we had a lot of respect, and even in the after we beat China in the group final this time, when I did the after-match interview with Danish TV, they were asking about who we preferred to play and didn't want to play in the draw, and I said that the team we did not want to draw in the quarterfinal was India. Actually, I thought that was the best of the second-placed teams. So yeah, we knew it could be tough, but yeah. That being said, I was still quite disappointed that we actually lost to them.
And that being said, I will still say that they were not favorites coming into the tournaments.
I agree.
I'll still stand by that statement. I think Indonesia had on paper the strongest team, so I think they made a little surprise for the world, the Indian team, but they were on fire for that Thomas Cup, and I must say I think it's very interesting that India got the title. It's their first Thomas Cup win. And I really hope that it can be very, very good for badminton. I talked to some of the Indian players and also some of the coaches and stuff, and they told me about how cricket went off in India back in the 90s, I believe, when they won something similar. I think it was some kind of a World Cup or something, but I'm not totally sure. Let us know, guys, if you know much more about it. But they really hope that this was, that they could repeat that pattern and badminton could really take off in India, and become maybe the new cricket. Or
yeah, that would be amazing. Like, it would be a great market to really get in on 100%. And yeah,
there's so many players, so many badminton players in India. It's
like all the challenge events, Super 100, Super 300, like they are just filled up with especially Indian men's singles players at the moment. I feel like every tournament you go to, you see a new Indian name. Like even in Thomas Cup team, the guy who was there as the fourth men's singles, Rajawat, I think is his last name. I didn't know him actually beforehand. Saw him play at Thailand Open and he played really well. Had a really tough match against Li Shifeng. So I think like depth is there in India for sure, and now they also showed that as a team they can be one of the very best. I think it's, I should say, quite nice and interesting to see them winning for the first time. I think it was the 5th different winner of Thomas Cup in the last 6 editions actually. So that says a lot about
I was about to say that it's quite fun that it has switched country for the last 5 times.
Yeah, it was
India, Indonesia,
Denmark, China, Denmark, Japan, and then China. So yeah, five different ones the last 5 editions actually. That's quite amazing.
I mean, it's not bad for badminton.
No, it's great. It's great.
It's quite good that.
And I would say also like Chinese Taipei, they would have the level to win on the right day. Malaysia would have the level to win as well. Other teams that are capable of beating the good teams as well. So I think that was also the big difference if you compare Thomas Cup and Uber Cup. That in Thomas Cup, when you got to the quarterfinal, apart from Indonesia beating China 3-0, all the other matches were 3-2. A lot of the group final matches in Thomas Cup were 3-2 as well. Whereas in Uber Cup, it was a lot of 5-0, 3-0, 3-0 until you got to the semifinal. So the 4 best teams in Uber Cup seem to be at a different level compared to the rest. Whereas in Thomas Cup, I feel there's even maybe 10 teams that are capable of beating each other on the day.
Yeah, it's quite impressive that they won that final 3-0. That was quite insane. And also the men's double made a crazy comeback. In I think they lost the first game, and then they were down like something like 19-14. Am I mistaken?
Yeah, I'm not sure actually.
I think it's something like that, and then they ended up winning the match.
I just heard that Asan missed like a huge chance on one of the match points. But I actually, in my opinion, I know Srikant, he won all of his matches, and Pranoy was also a very good guy to close out the matches. I think Chirag Shetty and Rankireddy is like the MVP of the Indian team. Also because like the history India has in men's doubles is not very good compared to the men's singles. Like they're not used to having world-class pairs in men's doubles. I saw a statistic about how few matches they actually won in doubles in the previous editions. I think it was from 10 to 16. They did not win one first men's doubles.
Wow.
And in Aarhus, Shetty and Rankireddy won all of the matches, and here they won all of the matches except one, I think.
Wow.
And I think it makes it like a huge difference on the team as well to know that you have this one doubles pair who can win on any given day.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be the 3 singles that wins every time. It takes off quite a bit of pressure, and obviously winning that men's doubles in the final against Indonesia also changed the pressure in that second men's singles completely.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen Jonathan play better matches than that final. But it's a tough task to have to play at 0-2 down. He's under a lot of pressure.
And against Srikant, who's in an amazing form at the moment.
Yeah, great confidence. Just beated a very solid player the day before or 2 days before the semi-final. Not so much.
No, I wouldn't say it was your best Thomas Cup performance.
Wouldn't you?
Ever. Nah.
Close. It was close.
you haven't had that many. Like in 18, you played one match against Algeria.
I think I'm cursed.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that
I would say in Aarhus last year, you actually played quite well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Even though you lost a very important match against Hans-Kristian.
Yeah.
Which cost us the final.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like this narrative of me being not a really good Thomas Cup player or not being able to perform at team events, because I think it's a bad mindset to have for the upcoming years.
It's also ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is.
But to be honest, if I guess we need to talk about that. We also have a lot of questions about what went wrong with me in particular during that event, and I think, to be honest, it got to my head a little bit, because when we were at the Thomas Cup 4 years ago, same place in Thailand, It was my first Thomas Cup. I was the second men's single back then as well, and I had a terrible trip. So I played one group match against Algeria,
Yep.
and then I got a migraine attack right after the match. For those who don't know, this extreme headache, where you also vomit and just, you know, it's having a crazy tough times for 6-8 hours or something like that. And then afterwards I was just sick for the whole trip and wasn't able to play any more matches. And I felt like the team needed me in some of the matches, and I wasn't able to play them because I felt so bad. Then we move on to Thomas Cup in Aarhus, which was, as you mentioned, it wasn't like a bad performance for me. I actually played quite good. I was struggling with a few minor sounds like a bad excuse, but a few minor injuries, but I was still playing quite good with whatever I had during that tournament. But obviously lost a key match for us in that semifinal, which could be the reason why we did not go to the final. We still needed to win one more match. It's never certain.
I would have won.
Perhaps
well, you never know.
It could have been a boy or a girl. We know that with you, but
True.
But that was, I mean, I felt like that was a defeat again. I mean, it was a loss. It even though it was fun and great experience, for some reasons it still felt like a loss to me. And then this one as well. I mean, 3 losses in a row. I mean, it's not often that I've tried that, to lose so many matches in a row. I mean, especially not the last few years. So then, you know, then it got to my head a little bit, you know, thinking about last time Thomas Cup 4 years ago, and it's just like a negative spiral, just a lot of negative thoughts, starting to doubt myself a little bit. Also felt a little bit like not saying that anyone on the team behaved in a wrong manner, but also started to feel like this doubt from everyone around me, for good reasons, because damn it, now he's losing an important match once again. So then obviously I started to doubt myself, and I also started to feel like the team, the group maybe also doubted a little bit whether I could win my matches and stuff, and that just led to like a bunch of negative thoughts. But I mean, something that was actually very, very tricky about this, and I think I told my coach that usually when you lose a match, you have some time to regroup, to get it out of your system, get to practice again, and then try again the next week.
Yeah, because when you lose, you are out of the event,
out of the tournament usually. But here I had to do that in a very short period of time, and I'm like a player who gets really frustrated when I lose a match. So it was a little bit difficult to try to perform the next day after a loss, and then again the next day after 2 losses in a row. Yeah,
makes sense. You're not used to needing to reset so fast.
No. It's not often that that I've tried that. So there was I mean, I think I handled it quite okay. I mean, I played. I mean, the match against Srikant wasn't a bad match. I've played better, sure.
But that's where I feel like the criticism is a little bit off, because I feel like the criticism is kind of like you're playing terrible and nothing is working, and from being part of the team, I did not experience it that way. Like I felt your match against Li Shifeng from China, I actually felt like you should have won that one. You played well, and you had, in my eyes, you had things under relative control also in the second game. Then that slipped away, and you ended up losing the match. Ian played amazing, especially in the second game. Again, you had a first game that kind of slipped away. 18-14, and obviously that's not great also in terms of the level we know from you. And then, as you say, the Srikant game, it's like you're losing to a guy who's in great form. You lose 15 in the third. It's like, it's not a horrendous performance, but obviously 3 losses in a row it's it's not great, and
No, it's not.
yeah, criticism will come out of it.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's not that black and white.
No.
And I even think it about like myself, like because I won that match against China.
And we
like,
need to talk about that one. By the
yeah,
way.
but everyone is making it out as like I'm invincible in Thomas Cup. Like I can't lose a match.
Yeah.
And if you look at the 2016 edition and 2018 and here, yeah, 2020 and here, I've played a lot of good matches. But I've also had so many bad Thomas Cup matches, especially in the start of my career. I couldn't perform well at any Thomas Cup finals. So for me, it's actually kind of ridiculous. I don't feel like I'm like a huge Thomas Cup hero or anything. I've had a few good ones, but yeah, the bad ones has definitely also been there. People just remember those more, and I think like the narrative could change with you as well. Like if we go 2 years from now and you win a few important ones, and maybe you do it one more time in your career, then maybe people will just remember, oh yeah, he's the guy who always performed well at Thomas Cup.
Sure.
So it can change so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know about what people are saying that much. But it's. I feel like there's people are trying to find that one thing that's the reason for why everything is terrible. And I don't feel like everything is terrible. I have not had the greatest year so far, and this was like a bad experience, a tough one to swallow, but there are still parts of my game during some of the sets that's quite good, but it's just not consistent enough. That's the biggest thing for me right now, that usually when I'm playing my best, it's just I'm just doing what I feel like all the time, and I'm not making that many mistakes and stuff. But right now there is too many mistakes, too many gifts to the opponent, too many points that they do not have to work that much for. But I mean, it's complicated. It's more than just one thing. You can't just. I mean, I've heard so many fun analysis, and I mean some of the most fun ones is probably from my mom.
Yeah.
I mean it could be your hair is too long.
Yeah. I've heard that a few times.
Is there something wrong with his eyes? I mean, I've heard, some ridiculous ones. So yeah, it's
I think actually the one with your hair is quite common amongst fans as well. Like he should just get a haircut, then he will be back to his old level.
Yeah, I get it a lot on social media. I mean, it's God damn it, guys! It has nothing to do with my hair. I've been playing with, obviously the hair is longer than ever before, but I've been playing with like headband for many years. So I don't think that's
but
that's the solution. What if I cut my hair and then lose again? What should we do then? Then it's the clothes. Then it's the. I mean, it's nothing like that.
No,
it's the game. It's it's about that. So.
Yeah, we're looking forward to see you figure it out.
I have
already in Indonesia. You are called the Istora boy for
good
reason.
reasons.
Yeah. You've been in the final there like 3 times in a row.
The last 3 events in Istora Senayan, I've reached the final.
Yeah.
One of them, then lost the last 2. 3 games. Also did great on Bali, won final there. So
you love Indonesia?
I love Indonesia. You guys know that. I'm very looking forward to get back out there.
I think we all are.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Is it with like a limited amount of spectators?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure quite how many, but what we know from Historia is that you need like 100 people in there, and then it's already loud, right? So yeah, it's going to be amazing to have
100 people in Historia is like 1,000 people anywhere else.
Yeah, so, it is. Yeah.
We're looking forward to get back to Indonesia, that's for sure, and to Hotel Fairmont, our favorite hotel on tour.
It is for sure. If you have never stayed there, you should try it.
You should.
And this episode is not sponsored by Fairmont,
but it should. Should be.
This is just like a heartfelt recommendation.
Yeah,
it's a great hotel.
It's a great hotel. It's a lovely place. So it'll be good. But just to wrap it up, I actually enjoy this doubt that I feel a little bit. I actually there's something about it that excites me. Like you know, now I have my back against the wall. I have to fight my way back. And I think for some reason it's something that actually excites me a little bit. I mean, just wait and see, guys. It might not be next time. It might not be the tournament after that. But I will get my revenge and I will work my way back.
So fundamentally, actually, you don't have any doubt, because you know that you will come back.
I mean,
so it's just a bit of doubt right now in the
sure.
moment, but not like in the longer run.
Yeah.
You're not doubting the things you're doing are the right and.
No, not really. I mean, I really believe in my dedication, my work ethic, and my eager to get as good as possible in this sport. I mean, I'm actually quite surprised with myself at times. I can get so obsessed after a loss or a bad period of time, just like right now. And sometimes it's demotivating, but usually it just fires me up. So I believe that I will definitely get back to a much better version of myself. I'm doing some great initiatives in my training and in my everyday life. That is definitely helping me in the right direction. So I say to myself, perhaps sometimes you need to take one step back to step 2 steps forward. You can say that.
That's deep.
Yeah, it's very deep. So no, I believe in myself 100% as usual.
That's great. That's great.
It's great. I have this line that's in my head all the time. You know, I listen a lot to Drake.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you really want to hype yourself up, then just listen to a lot of Drake and rap music in general, I believe.
Okay. Yeah.
Then you can really boost your confidence and stuff. There's this line, like, what is he saying? He's saying this shit.
Yeah.
This shit is a twist in the movies, but don't jump to conclusions. Like.
And what do you take out of that?
Do you get it?
Not really.
You know what a twist in the movies is, right? A twist in a movie. Like, you thought this guy is the bad guy, but suddenly he's not.
Yeah, of course.
But don't jump to conclusions. Like, you get it?
Yeah, I get that.
Just how do you say it, Oliver? Just don't conclude something out of something unexpected and stuff. That was quite good. Right. You get it?
Yeah, but I'm just not excited by that line. But it's fine. It works for you, so yeah, that's great.
God damn it! I like it. I like it. Anyways. Uber Cup.
Yeah, Uber Cup. And we are saying Uber Cup because Sten, as you mentioned before, he was like really annoyed with me in Thailand because I said Uber Cup. And he says that Gillian Clark, who knows everything about badminton, she says that Uber Cup is named after Betty Uber. Okay. And her name was Uber, so that's why we say Uber Cup.
But it makes sense to say Uber Cup if you don't know the story.
Yeah.
Because it's spelled Uber.
Yeah. But actually, Uber. Sten, if he's writing something about
God
Uber
damn
Cup,
it, Sten.
he spells it Y-O-U, but to tell people that it's supposed to be announced Uber Cup. Okay. So Sten, this one is for you. Yeah. But yeah, that was as I said, the group matches, the quarterfinals. I didn't find that too exciting, but like the final 4 matches and especially the final, that was. Yeah, pretty intense. The first time since 1994 that the final went the full distance to the 5th match.
Wow.
Yeah, and with a very surprising winner. I don't know if you watched any of the Uber Cup final.
Not really, no.
No, but like Anse Young, she played an unbelievable match in the first women's singles. She was playing with cramp in the final game and almost got away with a win. Lost to Chen Yufei. I think everyone thought then, okay, China is going to win this one now. But they actually won the 2 doubles career. And in the 3rd women's singles, they had this girl, Sim Yujin, I think she's called. 48 in the world playing.
The SIM card.
Yeah, the SIM card. She played Wang Qilin, who just won the Asian Championships. I think she's ranked like 12 or 14 in the world. Okay. So obviously China, the huge favorite in that deciding match. And Sim ended up winning. I turned it on at the start of the final game, so the 3rd game. And I think she was up like 13-1 in 5 minutes. So that was pretty unreal performance for someone who's basically pretty unknown on the world stage. So yeah, I think it was a quite epic final actually. And again, it's not that I'm against China or anything, but it's just great to see a different country winning. I think it was only the second time Korea actually won Uber Cup.
Okay.
So I think it's good for the sport that we are not getting the same winners every time.
Has it been dominated by China in general?
Yeah, China in general, and Japan has been up there for the past few years, but in general it's been dominated by China.
Who defeated Japan?
I think Korea did, actually, in the semi-final as well. It's a little bit embarrassing that we don't know. But I don't remember China playing Japan in Uber Cup, so it must have been Korea. We need to look that up.
We need to look it up.
One thing we need to talk about as well from Uber Cup is the Indonesian team. We've had quite a few requests from the fans talking about that.
Yeah.
Because they send a completely... obviously, my computer is stalling right now, so I can't check
Anyways,
who beat Japan.
Maybe the fans can help us out.
Yeah, they can for
help
sure.
us out, guys.
But yeah, Indonesia had a very young team with... Honestly, I didn't know any of the players. I didn't recognize any of the names.
Wow.
And they still made the quarterfinal. Did they make the semifinal even?
I'm not sure.
We should know that as well. We don't even know.
I mean, we were quite caught up in our own tournament, so I think we had enough to deal with. But
but the most surprising win during that event was they had this first women's singles against Japan called Bilkis, who's the daughter of Yoko Supriyanto, who you don't know who is, but former world champion in men's singles, 1993. She's ranked 333 in the world, and she beat Yamaguchi in that match, so the world number 1. So that's pretty cool for a 19-year-old that's not been playing on that stage at all, to just go in and beat Yamaguchi. So I think, like, for the Indonesian fans, it was quite uplifting experience to see the Super Cup team, because I don't think they had any expectations, and they ended up actually doing really well.
They
obviously they did not make the semi-final. It was Thailand who made the semi-final.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so quarterfinal.
Great. They obviously has had great women's doubles players with Gracia Polly that we have had here on the podcast.
Yeah.
But what about ladies singles?
Yeah, they've been struggling for quite a few years.
Yeah.
They obviously used to have great ones. Susi Susanti, they had Maria-Christian Julianti, who got an Olympic medal as well. Mia Audina in the past as well. So they've had great players, but since Julianti, I think she won a medal in Beijing, a bronze medal.
2008?
Yeah. I think since her, they haven't really had that, like, top name.
That's quite a long period of time.
It is for sure.
Interesting.
So, maybe there's some hope with this new girl, Bilkis.
New generation.
Like, if she can beat Yamaguchi, then obviously her
there's
talent,
potential.
Yeah, there's potential for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. So she's gonna be exciting to follow.
Yeah.
That's it about Uber Cup, I guess.
That's
unless,
that about Uber Cup.
Unless you have something else about Uber Cup you want to share.
I don't have that much, to be honest. I was quite caught up in trying to fix my own game and my own head, so I did not watch much.
Any comments on the Danish team's performance?
On the Danish Uber Cup?
Yeah.
Great team spirit.
True.
They had their own Instagram page, and the team spirit was, I mean,
good.
On point.
Yeah.
It was great. I think they did very well against Korea. Actually, they lost 3-0.
3-0. Yeah.
3-0, but all 3 game
matches. Yeah. I think it was all 3 game matches.
I think Mia was actually quite close to defeating An Se-young in the final. The first ladies double, was it like?
Yeah, that was a close one too.
Yeah. So I think they can be satisfied with that performance.
I agree.
Obviously, when you get close to something, you just want a little bit more. But it's also, I mean, isn't it the Danish Uber Cup team is quite young as well? I mean,
yeah, for sure, and I don't think anyone expected them to win a medal or anything.
No,
but I think they showed, at least compared also to what happened in Aarhus and what happened in 18, that they are progressing. There's still quite some way to go to really be able to beat those top 4 teams. But I think they showed a step in the right direction.
That's that for Uber Cup.
That is that.
No, I want to mention one fun story. So when we played against China, in the group final
in Thomas Cup, the score is 2-2 in the team match, but it's past midnight. What do you think? Yeah, I started playing at around 1 o'clock.
Hans-Kristian started to play at 1 o'clock. But we have this thing on our team that we prioritize restitution quite a lot. So when the matches is that late, when it's played during the nighttime, some of the players go back to the hotel, make sure that they get their treatment, try to get some sleep, because there's a team match again the next day. So you were actually playing that group final match at the score 2-2 against China. With only you in the hall. That's not completely true.
No, we had
the men's double that played right before.
Yeah, Anders and Frederik Søgaard. They were still there.
Who had an amazing tournament, by the way.
Yeah. And then all of the support staff. So our psychologist and our physical coach, our team manager, and I think our video analyst. I think we had 8 people maybe there, but only 2 other players.
But I think I went to bed around 2 a.m. No, is it 2 a.m.?
I think my match finished at 2:20, 2:25, something like that.
I went to bed something like that. I think I saw you lost the first game.
Yeah.
Then I went to bed. I was having a hard time sleeping because I lost my own match, and I just explained what that does to my head.
Yeah.
So I was up at some point an hour later or something. I think I had to pee. I was staying in the same room as Kim Astrup.
Yeah.
And then I checked on the phone. I saw that you won the match. And then Kim asked me, I guess he just woke up or something. How did it go? Did we win? And then I said, he did it. He won 21-18 in the third game. Yeah. And then we just started to laugh. I mean, I think Kim said something like that. Then that circus clown has been running around with his shirt off in the arena all by himself. It was
I had quite a bit of beef with the Chinese players that were sitting behind court and their support staff. I felt like they were so annoying in the way they were cheering and shouting stuff, and they were trying to say out if there was a close call or try to just be a little bit annoying, and I definitely felt that. So there was a few times where
we can be annoying as well.
Yeah, for sure.
In our box, so
I have no issue with it, but it's just when you're on court, it can kind of get you off a little bit. So
sure.
I had a bit of a beef with them, and a few times I really enjoyed it when I hit a winner, I could look straight at them and.
But how did you lost the first game? And then you crawled back. You made a quite good comeback. It was close in the second and the third.
I actually had a good lead in the second game. There was quite a bit of difference on the two sides. And in the second game, I was on the good side of the court where I could play against the wind. But I actually kind of lost that lead in the end of the game. So he caught up with me at 19 all. And then, I wrapped it up. Then I played really, really well in the start of the third game. Got a good lead again. He caught up a little bit. And then I got this 2-3 point lead most of the way from there, but I think it was actually again even at 18 all, and then I played 3 really, really good points. So
very impressive. I must say that
it was a lot of fun for me to play that one. And
how did you feel? I mean, about just being almost alone. It was only a few players and then the staff.
Yeah, but I actually didn't really notice. I noticed that Anders was there and Søgaard, and I thought that was quite nice because obviously I know that we do this thing where people have to go back, and we had a very difficult match the next day as well, so it makes sense. So I actually did not feel like I was not getting enough support. I think they were quite vocal, the guys sitting there, and also it was the only match going on. It was the only people in the hall, so you could hear everything that was being said, and the support was decent. Were there still
spectators in the hall?
I think there was maybe 20 spectators. There were a few Danes actually. So I thanked them as well, and they said they were coming back. But I think also now with everything we know now that it was my last Thomas Cup. It's for me, it's quite nice to be able to say that my final match was winning the decider against China and giving us the first win in 24 years against them.
Yeah, that's that's insane.
Obviously, I would have loved to play in the quarterfinal, semi-final, or final, but I could also have lost that match, and then I would not go out on the same high note as I do now.
You retire as a Thomas Cup legend, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
matter what happened in the past, but the last four times, you've been good in general for the last four
times.
Cups. Let's say that.
Yeah.
So
I did lose in the semi-final in 18.
In 18, I remember that one. So Lissijar.
That was actually in the group stage.
That was in the group.
Yeah, in the semi-final I lost to Nishimoto.
So
I won the quarterfinal.
You were shit in 18.
No, because I won against Korea in the quarterfinal.
Okay,
to finish off the match.
Fair enough. You are a Thomas Cup legend for Denmark.
Thanks.
You will always be.
Thanks.
You were on the winning team in 16.
Yeah.
Maybe the only winning team Denmark will ever have at the Thomas Cup.
We will win it again.
Maybe with you as the coach in a few years.
I think we had a good chance the last two times, so it annoys me.
It's hurtful.
It does.
I think we should move on from the Thomas Cup. I can't handle it anymore. Okay, so congratulations to India, congratulations to Korea, Thomas Cup win, Uber Cup win. We are sorry that we forgot to mention India in the lead up. Hope that you can forgive us. We love India, and we love all of you guys. So
everyone,
I got very sentimental right there. Let's move on to the Thailand Open directly after the Thomas Uber Cup. The Thailand Open was played.
That was great for us.
It was not the best performance by us Danish men's singles.
No.
We lost all of us in the first round, and then Victor had to pull out in the second round. So not the best for us.
But a good one for our friend Lissijar.
A good one once again for our friend Lissijar. So
he's like our favorite friend.
He's our favorite friend. So he won the Asian Championships, went undefeated at Thomas Cup, and then won the Thailand Open. He's looking good.
Yeah, he is.
He's looking very, very solid at the moment. So
and then a few nice comebacks against Rustavito and also against Li Shifeng.
Was definitely under big pressure, both against those two guys.
Yeah.
I think he was down like 11-4 in the decider in both games actually. But he crawled back. So there was during this Thailand Open there was definitely a lot of drift. So one side was much better than the others, and I think that you can see that on the scores. There was a lot of free game matches. But one thing that's quite impressive about his semifinal against Rustavito is that he was down 11-4 in the decider, but he ended on the like the difficult side.
Where you're playing with the wind.
Playing with the drift. And that's usually, I mean, very, very difficult to win on that side. But he made a comeback from being down 4-11. That's quite impressive.
Yeah. You told me this morning, and when I saw the comeback, I was sure that he actually finished on the good side, because usually that's how it goes. You can only make those comebacks if you actually end on the good side. So I'm actually a bit shocked that he was able to do that.
I would say that Rustavito actually crumbled a little bit under the pressure. I think he felt like, oh my god, something big is about to happen here. I think he made a lot of mistakes in the ending part of that match. So, but
it would have been a good win for him as well, and also he would have had a chance in the final for sure against Li Shifeng. Definitely a player that he's capable of beating.
And Li Shifeng, a guy a little bit on the rise, quite new to the world stage. I personally saw him for the first time during the Thomas Cup half year ago. So interesting player, like very offensive minded.
I feel like he's like going full power on basically every chance he gets. And it's not like it's all on the lines, but it applies a lot of pressure on your opponent also, because he's quite fast going forward, so he can just keep the pressure on all the time. And I feel in a stadium like the one in Thailand, where it's not that easy to just make good quality lifts because of the drift. He's a difficult guy to play against.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see if China is. I think at the moment I would say that he is the best men's single for China right now. Also better than Lu Guangzhou, who was their first men's single.
Yeah, I think for sure he has more potential to beat the top guys compared to Lu Guangzhou. I would say Lu Guangzhou is still more stable for sure, consistent in his game. But if you look at the potential to actually win a big event, I would also say Li Shifeng has a better chance of doing so.
Interesting.
I would also say that the Thomas Cup of China this time was one of the worst we've seen.
The team?
Yeah, like obviously it's still a really good team. It's just compared to the previous editions, it was one of the worst Chinese teams.
I think in 2018 they had an amazing team.
It was unbelievable. Yeah.
Lin Dan in their third men's single.
Yeah.
That's
Chen Long and Shi Yuqi was there, and the
men's
Twin
doubles.
Towers and men's doubles,
Yeah.
Li Junhui and his partner, and it was a good team. Liu Cheng and Chang Nang in second men's doubles.
Now we talk Thomas Cup again.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anything else about the Thailand Open that struck you?
I think.
What about the mixed doubles final? Xing Shiwei.
Yeah, they got the revenge right against the Thai
Japan.
pair. Yeah. That's notable. I think it was also quite interesting to see Tai Su Ying actually be back at her best, winning the event and getting her revenge as well. She had another good match with Ratchanok as well. But it's just, I think she's quite difficult to figure out, Tai Su Ying, because there's sometimes just talk about her maybe retiring and is she really motivated, and like every time she just comes back at some point and she's playing amazing again. And I love watching her. I think most people do, because like her shot making is amazing. Her technique is
Phenomenal
fantastic.
technique,
So I think for anyone that likes badminton, she's great to watch. I think it's just amazing to see that she's still there and can play at this level.
I heard those rumors like a few years ago that she was going to retire after the Olympics. But she's still playing. So maybe she changed her mind.
Yeah, I really hope that she will get one of the big golds at some point, the World Championships or the Olympics.
Oh, she's never won one of those?
Nope.
What about Carolina Marin? I thought that she was... I saw her there in Thailand. She played a match during the Uber Cup, but...
Yeah, and then she...
didn't play the tournament?
Yeah. She made a comeback at the European Championships, and I think she only played that one match in the Uber Cup to get the points, because you get you get ranking points for playing these team matches, and with the frozen ranking system right now, you get a lot of points, because that's how the system works. So, my guess is that there's something that maybe did not react perfectly well after the European Championships, because obviously she had a protected ranking. And now she started playing again. She only has 6 months to gain new points. So it doesn't make sense she did not play Thailand Open if she was fully fit. Because she needs to play everything she can in these 6 months. So, it's just my guess that there's something that was not perfect in her body since she did not play. Yeah.
Makes sense.
But what it is or how bad it is, I have no idea about.
She should tell us here on the podcast at some point.
Yeah, for sure. We will invite her.
The men's doubles finals, the Indonesian pair had to withdraw.
Yeah, I don't know what happened actually.
I've heard, and I'm not 100% sure, but I heard something with one of the guys back during the warm up.
Okay.
And I'm not sure who it was. But I heard that during the warm up, some of them got.
It's a bit disappointing because I actually felt. Like in the men's singles, there were a lot of people pulling out or losing early, but in men's doubles, the lineup was really, really strong. And when you got to the semifinals and even quarterfinals, you had a lot of the top pairs still there. So it's a bit of a anti-climax that you end up with a final where you play half a set and that's it.
I was hanging out today with Kim Astrup, and him and Anders Skov Rasmussen, his partner, they lost in the semifinal. A close semifinal to the Japanese pair, Hoki and Kobayashi.
Perfect pronunciation.
Thank you very much. And he was obviously a little bit disappointed that they lost, but very disappointed since the Indonesian pair pulled out in the final. I mean,
Yeah,
if they were in the same spot, they would have won the final
Yeah.
without even playing. So
Yeah, that's tough.
they played a good tournament though.
Yeah,
The
they
guys,
did.
the
They
Danish
did for
guys.
sure. I saw
And,
that crazy statistics that they made 14 straight quarterfinals in individual events. That's pretty good consistency.
That's quite impressive.
Yeah.
The most consistent pair in top 10 or top 8 or something like that.
Yeah, it was again Gillian Clark who sent it out there. And all other pairs in top 10, they've had at least one loss in the first or second round in that same time span.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah, it is. And it was good also to see Wang Qilin and Li Yang again. I think I was quite surprised actually they did not make the final, but I think in the early rounds of the tournament they looked very solid again.
Who did they lose to?
I think they lost to Aaron Cheer and Wu.
Okay, from Malaysia.
Yeah, from Malaysia.
A strong
In the,
lineup in the men's
the
doubles,
quarterfinal.
in the men's doubles category.
Yeah. Is that it?
I think it's it. I'm actually starting to get a little bit tired now.
It's also late.
I think I told you early on the day that it's weird that I have had no jet lag after getting back to Denmark this time, but I can feel it a little bit now. Yeah. It's also 2 trainings in a day. It's a tough Monday.
It was a tough one this morning.
So guys, our coach Kenneth, the head coach here in Denmark, he is obviously not very satisfied with our performance out in Thailand for good reasons. So you can really feel that when you return to the practice. Yeah. Right away, he just is going to punish you, and we felt that this morning, and I'm sure we're going to feel it again tomorrow morning. Yeah,
so I can't remember the last time we did that much footwork in the start of a training session.
No, he's definitely feeling the need to like punish us to get some frustrations out, and it's totally
in a positive way.
It's totally fine. He's an amazing coach, the best coach in the game.
We have a men's singles group meeting tomorrow. So after recording this podcast, I'm quite I wouldn't say nervous, but just curious to see what kind of mood Kenneth is in for that one.
We should record it.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Live stream it on Instagram.
I think it's top secret.
Yeah,
I think it's top secret.
It is.
Well, guys, by the way, we forgot to mention, we have mentioned it in an Instagram post. The Badminton Experience cap. I have one here as well. Amazing fan gift. Oliver has one as well. We also got wristbands. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not official merch, but we are definitely trying to figure out if we can do some official merch at some point. It seemed like
at some point we will figure it out for sure.
We will figure it out. Yeah. It's
a bit complicated with the worldwide shipping and who has the time to ship stuff but at some point we will figure it out for sure.
We will do it, guys. So stay tuned for that in the future. Let's keep this channel growing. I think we've been growing steadily episode for episode here on the new channel. The views is going in the right direction. Up. The fans is amazing both on Instagram and here on YouTube. So thank you so much, guys. This is we are the Badminton Experience, and this is no. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this episode of the Badminton Experience, and stay tuned for much more. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it. Leave a like on the video. Leave a comment. There was on some of the topics we were struggling a little bit today, so help us out on those topics. And with that being said,
peace out.
Hi. No. Goodbye.
Oh, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, goodbye.
See you guys.